こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材はリバプールの遠藤航に関する動画です。リバプールはカラバオカップ準々決勝で菅原由成擁するサウサンプトンと対戦し、2対1で勝利していますが、遠藤航がセンターバックで先発したことにはリバプールファンは驚き、その素晴らしいパフォーマンスをリバプールファンが称賛し続けています。今日の動画はザ・レッドメン TV チャンネルから試合直後のマッチリアクション動画です。試合にほとんど出ない状況でも準備をし努力し続けてきた遠藤航を本当に称賛しているのがわかります。実際にどのように話しているのかチェックしてみましょ
う。Hello everybody, welcome back to Redmen TV. After Liverpool booked our place in the Carabao Cup semi-finals, all is boss. All sound. I'm really happy. Let's see how you're feeling at home about it. This is the part of the night where you tell us your thoughts, your feelings. What did you like? What didn't you like? What made you happy? What made you angry? All that stuff. Adam Harrison kicks us off, and he says, sort this negativity on your chat. Just got to a cup. So listen, I haven't witnessed any of this negativity. So you've got about 15-20 minutes to air your grievances. I will field them all and try and make sense of them, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. But listen, ultimately, for what it's worth, Liverpool 2, Southampton 1. I thought it was a pretty solid all-round performance, really, for Liverpool. Given the vast amount of changes that we made and the lads that didn't even travel to the South Coast, the lads that we left at home that watched like we did from the comfort of our studios in this case, or out there in the kitchen in the couch. I thought it was really impressive, actually. Not sort of a discernible difference between the first 11 and what we witnessed tonight. Obviously, the slight shift in Wataru Endo's role. I thought he did it brilliantly, sort of a hybrid DM stroke centre-back. And I thought he was man of the match. Spoiler alert for the show later on a little bit, but I thought he was absolutely excellent. So yeah, I was really, really pleased. And when you do make so many changes and you do introduce youngsters and lads who haven't played a lot of football, you expect to see a bit of rust, maybe a little bit of sort of out of sync, not quite clicking, not quite sort of gelling. Yeah, I thought it was decent against a Southampton side who, albeit at bottom of the Premier League, you know, they've got some quality, they've got some fighting spirit. They certainly showed that in the second half. So to come through it, I think is a real positive for Liverpool. And ultimately, in the hat, it was never likely to be this all singing, all dancing, free-flowing, pristine Liverpool performance. We made too many changes for that to be the case, unfortunately. There was too many of the big hitters not there. So, yeah, given who was involved and given the conditions a little bit, given the fact away from home, given the circumstances, yeah, I thought it was really, really good. I don't think Southampton would have showed the same levels of enthusiasm or endeavour to get back in the game had Russell Martin still been in charge. And that's not saying Russell Martin's a bad manager, because I don't believe he is, but it feels as though sort of a weight was lifted off their shoulders a little bit at the weekend when they sacked him, and the players come out, especially in the second half, with that resilience, that fighting spirit, and went, let's fucking have a go, let's go down swinging at least. And barring the goal, we dealt with it quite well, mainly thanks to Kevin Kelleher, but still, you know, we move. A lot of people talking about Jayden Danns and potentially using him over Darwin Núñez. I would argue it's a little bit of an overreaction, maybe a little bit premature, perhaps. Claire Dean says Darwin had a boss game. Seth says, didn't Darwin have a goal? Did I miss something? Yeah, it's Charlie. I'm fully with you. I'm fully on board with this. By the way, Darwin was decent, wasn't he? Listen, I'd be lying if I sat here and sort of said we are now sort of fixed or free of any Darwin problems or any Darwin questions, or whether we should no longer have reservations about Darwin Núñez on number 9. That'd be just utter nonsense. A goal against Southampton in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. As much as I was an advocate for Darwin being a key contributing factor as to why we were going to win this game, the goal and the manner that it came about, he has to score that ultimately, and he does, so fine. But we'd have been having serious questions had he not done, by the way. But yeah, I don't think his all-round game suggests that we should be like, okay, don't worry about it anymore. Like, we're fine in that department. However, having said all of that, I don't think, you know, Jayden Dan's 10-minute cameo, whatever it was at the end of that game, as much as I'm a Jayden Dan's fan, by the way, I don't think that is enough of a sample size to go, well, he's clearly the answer over Darwin Núñez either. You know what I mean? I still think there's huge questions to be answered when it comes to the centre forward long term. I've said this numerous times now on numerous shows. I don't think Liverpool will do anything dramatic when it comes to that position this season. I think we'll have to grin and bear it sometimes, maybe, when it comes to Núñez's frustrations, Diogo Jota's injuries a little bit, and his fitness, and ultimately the development of Jayden Dan. Because if anyone could genuinely sit there and tell me or say out loud that Jayden Dan's from here on out is going to be perfect and he's perfectly ready in terms of his development to be Liverpool centre forward, then good on you. But I certainly can't do that. So, yeah, I'll check this. I haven't seen it, mate, but I will check. I'll just let me dive into that particular segment and we'll go from there. There we go. Do you know why it's Elliot and Endo on shirt? I don't know what that means. Do you know why it's Elliot and Endo on shirt? Explain that. Explain that to me better. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Craig said, I don't know if this one got read out in the previous bit, but I'll do it now anyway. Freddie with a filthy touch and Megs look class. Yeah, that touch and the Megs by the touchline was definitely a moment of the quality, and it was showing us what he has at his disposal. But look class. Yeah, he looked a little bit rusty to me, which is to be expected, I guess, given the lack of footy that he's played. He did show us sort of what he is capable of when he had both efforts quite well blocked, actually. One of them certainly looked goal-bound, the first one, actually, and then the next one was deflected over. I don't know why he looked to square what looked like a pretty gilt-edged opportunity. I don't know whether it was a miss-hit shot that he just dragged horribly wide, or whether he was actually looking to find, I think it's Harvey Elliott arriving at the back post. But, yeah, it was an interesting cameo from Chiesa. Again, 2 or 3 moments of quality, as I've alluded to there, but also I think there's a moment where he looks up and he thinks he's got loads of time. You're not afforded that time in England, like in the Premier League, which ultimately this kind of was tonight. So yeah, he's, again, moments, definitely glimpses of what he could bring to the table, but he doesn't look up to speed, which I guess, again, is understandable. But it's nice to see him play. Ultimately, nice to see him play. Edwin Gonzalez says, Jesus, we aren't going to get a new striker in January. Núñez stays healthy. Can we stop crying about it now and worry about selling him? I'd park the worrying about selling him in the summer. I think I agree with the first sentiment in that we just need to get behind him and back him to the hilt, which we do, to be fair, as a fan base collectively. Like, we always sing his name. We always, anything he does basically gets a huge round of his surname chanted around Anfield. So, yeah, I don't think there's any questions that Liverpool will continue to back him. We just need to keep doing so, because ultimately, I think we're going to see a lot more of Darwin Núñez playing the centre forward for Liverpool between now and the end of the season. And I just need to do one quick bit of admin before we dive into some more chat, if you don't mind. I'll get it out of the way now. Anyone who is au fait with what we do here at Redmen TV, know we do this, and there's also the website and subscribers. Our Legend subscribers are in a monthly draw for an Advent prize. Every single day this month we're giving away something. Today it is a copy of Stanley Park, the story by Jeff Golding, and I'm gonna spin the wheel right now, and whatever's name this lands on is our winner today. So congratulations to congratulations to Paul Stockel. I will be boxing that book for you in the not too distant future, my friend. Well done. Sound. Now back into the chat. What are we saying? What are we talking about it? Oh, I see what you're getting at now earlier on. I have no idea why that's the case. Like, that is semantics. I honestly have no clue. It's an interesting, so it's an interesting sort of footnote, I guess. And somebody will have the answer to that, but I'm afraid I'm not that guy. I'm not. Maybe it's a preference. Maybe that's what Taro Endo wants. I don't know. I guess in terms of like originality, it keeps him a bit original. And just on Endo, but I thought it was brilliant tonight. Absolutely brilliant. We'll do more of the player ratings and stuff like that, and sort of the performers along the way in the next show, because that's literally what it's designed for. But yeah, while I'm on the subject, I thought he was exceptional. Took the captain's armband as well in the second half when Trent went off. Yeah, really, really pleased for him. Really, really pleased. Because I haven't been... what's the phrase? I've not been sort of disheartened or disappointed by the lack of footy that he's played, because we've been winning games of football and Ryan Gravenberch have been doing such a good job in there. There's been no sort of outcry for Wataru Endo to play games, but I do really like him, and he showed tonight what ability he's got, but also he showed sort of his professionalism this season in particular. Every time he's spoken, because he's been asked about it a few times, certainly when he's been away on international duty, and he just says all the right things in terms of like, no, I'm going to stay, I'm going to fight for my place. Whenever I'm called upon, I'll give my best. I've been really, really, really pleased with how he's handled this whole situation. Didn't expect anything else, because he's been around the game for so long now that he was never likely to sort of kick up a fuss and kick his, throw his toys out the pram and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I was really pleased for him to get his performance tonight and play the way he did. And Claire, spot on. He was probably... Harvey Elliott got man of the match on the telly, and obviously Núñez scores the goal. Elliott gets his goal too. But Tyler Morton was probably my second favourite performer from that. And they fall under a similar bracket, really, Endo and Morton, albeit at different sort of spectrums and ends to their career in many senses. But in terms of the patience and potentially the frustration they've had this season by just waiting in the wings, Endo, because again, he's 30 and a bit, he's played a lot of football, senior football throughout his career, he's Japan captain of Stuttgart before he came. He will want to be a leading role, a leading character in a football team somewhere, certain of it. He isn't that now at Liverpool. Has it mattered? No. He's just gone about his business. Brilliant when called upon. Tyler Morton, in a different way, is 2 loans deep now, and 2 very successful loans. I think Hull and Blackburn the past 2 seasons, of playing 40 odd times, both times around. And he's come back to Liverpool and he's 3rd choice DM, yeah, and not really likely to play, you wouldn't have said, because there's no game time for Wataru Endo, which means there's definitely no game time for Tyler Morton either. But again, come in tonight, coming at Brighton in the last round, and performed, I want to say admirably, but that would be short of what he's done actually. I think he's a really tidy footballer, never lets you down, very uncomplicated, went in at right back as well, second half, and did a really good job over there too, covered well when needed, positioned himself really, really smartly, reads the game nicely. Yeah, I like Tyler Morton a lot, I really do.
次は解説です。ザ・レッドメン TV のホストメンバーの一人であるダンの英語はいかがだったでしょうか。私もかなり聞き慣れたと思っていますが、未だに難しい箇所がかなりあります。今回の動画は少し長めでもありましたので、解説も多めです。あまり使わないものも一部ありますが、知っておくことで理解もしやすいでしょうし、よく使う表現ももちろんありますので、本日も勉強していきましょう。それでは解説です。
So you've got about 15-20 minutes to air your grievances.
グリーバンスは不満、苦情、不平を意味し、個人的な問題から社会的な抗議まで幅広い文脈で使われます。特に、不公平や不適切な状況に対して声を上げる際に用いられることが多いです。例えば、職場での苦情や政府の政策に対する抗議などが該当します。この言葉には、単なる不満にとどまらず、それを公に訴え、改善を求める行動のニュアンスも含まれています。
So you've got about 15-20 minutes to air your grievances. So you've got about 15-20 minutes to air your grievances. Not sort of a discernible difference between the first 11.
デサーニブルは何かが識別できる、あるいははっきりとわかる状態を表す言葉です。例えば、結果に明らかな違いがあるや、霧の中でかろうじて山が見えるといった状況で使われます。この言葉は、物理的なものだけでなく、感情や変化など、抽象的なものについても用いられるのが特徴です。
Not sort of a discernible difference between the first 11, not sort of a discernible difference between the first 11, sort of a hybrid DM stroke centre back.
ストロークは文脈によって様々な意味を持つ単語で一般的には一撃、一振り、 医学では脳卒中を意味します。また、イギリス英語では何かを兼務している時にも使われ、例えば、ライターストロークディレクターで、作家兼監督のように、複数の役割を表す表現として用いられることもあります。
These sort of a hybrid DM stroke centre back. Sort of a hybrid DM stroke centre back. A bit of rust, maybe a little bit of sort of out of sync.
ラストは本来金属の錆を意味しますが、比喩的には能力の低下やブランクによる鈍りを表します。例えば、長期間試合に出ていない選手や、久しぶりに何かを再開した人が感じる慣れの鈍りなどを指す際に使われます。この言葉は特にスポーツやパフォーマンスの文脈でよく用いられます。
A bit of rust, maybe a little bit of sort of out of sync. A bit of rust, maybe a little bit of sort of out of sync. In pristine Liverpool performance.
プリスティーンは、物や状態が新品同様で完全に綺麗な状態を指す言葉です。また、自然が手つかずのまま保たれている状況や、抽象的に純粋で損なわれていないことを表現する際にも使われます。例えば、新品同様の車や汚れのない白い砂浜など、完璧な美しさや清潔さを強調する表現として用いられる便利な言葉です。
In pristine Liverpool performance, barring the goal.
バーリングは何々を除けばや何々がなければを意味する前置詞で、例えば、予期せぬ事態がなければや特定の問題を除けばといった条件や例外を述べる際に使用されます。カジュアルな会話からフォーマルな文脈まで幅広く使われ、特に条件を明確に提示したい場面で便利な表現です。
Barring the goal. So whether we should no longer have reservations about.
リザベーションは一般的にはホテルやレストランの予約を指しますが、心の中に取っておく、保留しておくというニュアンスが派生し、完全に安心せず、どこか疑いや不安を残しているというイメージから、比喩的には懸念やためらいという意味でも使われます。
So whether we should no longer have reservations about, as much as I was an advocate for Darwin.
アドボケートは名詞としては支持者や提唱者を意味し、特定の考えや行動を積極的に広める人を指します。動詞としては支持するや提唱するという意味で、アイデアや政策を推進する際に用いられます。この言葉は社会運動や政策の文脈で頻繁に使われるほか、法的にはイギリス英語で弁護士の意味も持ちます。
As much as I was an advocate for Darwin, I think we'll have to grin and bear it sometimes maybe.
グリーン&ベアーイットは困難や嫌な状況に直面しても文句を言わずに耐えることを表すイディオムです。直訳では笑顔でそれを耐える。ですが実際の意味は仕方がないので我慢するというニュアンスで、例えば交通渋滞や仕事のストレスに耐える際に使われます。このフレーズはネガティブな状況を静かに受け入れる姿勢を象徴しています。
I think we'll have to grin and bear it sometimes maybe. What looked like a pretty gilt-edged opportunity.
ギルトエッジドはもともと金融の文脈で信頼性が高いや安全で価値のあるという意味で使われていましたが、現在では比喩的に一流のや絶好のを表す言葉として広く使われています。例えば、サッカーでは決定的なチャンスや絶好の機会を指す場合によく使われます。
What looked like a pretty gilt-edged opportunity. Again, 2 or 3 moments of quality, as I've alluded to there.
アリュードは何かについて直接言わずに遠回しにほのめかしたり暗示したりする際に使われる動詞です。例えば、スピーチや文学作品で名前を出さずに歴史や文化について触れる場合や、日常会話で話題をやんわりと示唆する際に使われます。
Yeah, again, 2 or 3 moments of quality, as I've alluded to there. Again, 2 or 3 moments of quality, as I've alluded to there, in that we just need to get behind him and back him to the hilt.
To the hilt は徹底的にや最大限にを意味するイディオムで、もともとはヒルトまで、つまり剣の握る部分である、絵の部分まで深く突き刺さる状況を表現していました。この表現は、サポートや努力を全力で行うときや、リソースを限界まで使い切る場合に使われ、日常会話からフォーマルな場面まで幅広く用いられます。
in that we just need to get behind him and back him to the hilt. In that we just need to get behind him and back him to the hilt. Our legend subscribers are in a monthly draw for an Advent prize.
アドベントは到来や出現を意味する言葉で新しい時代や技術の始まりを表す際に使われます。例えば、インターネットの登場や電気自動車の到来などがその例です。また、キリスト教では、クリスマスを迎える準備期間である対抗節を指す言葉としても使われます。技術革新から宗教的な行事まで幅広い場面で使われる表現です。
Our legend subscribers are in a monthly draw for an Advent prize. Our legend subscribers are in a monthly draw for an Advent prize. Like that is semantics.
セマンティックスは言葉や文の意味、解釈を研究する学問で言語学や哲学、さらにはコンピューター科学などの分野で重要な役割を果たします。日常会話では言葉の細かい意味やニュアンスを指す場合に使われ、細かい意味にこだわりすぎるという軽い批判のニュアンスを含むこともあります。この言葉は言語の本質や解釈を探る場面で特に有用です。
Like that is semantics. Like that is semantics. It's an interesting, so it's an interesting sort of footnote, I guess.
フットノートは、主に書籍や文書で使われる脚注を指し、本文の補足説明や出典情報を提供するためにページの下部に記載されるものです。比喩的には、付随的な事項や、あまり重要でない出来事という意味でも使われる表現で、情報を保管したり、背景を説明したりする際に便利な言葉です。
It's an interesting, so it's an interesting sort of footnote, I guess. It's an interesting, so it's an interesting sort of footnote, I guess. There's been no sort of outcry for Wataru Endo to play games.
アウトクライとは、特定の問題や不公平に対して多くの人々が声を上げる抗議や大きな反発を意味します。例えば、政府の政策や企業の行動に対する批判、大衆の怒りを表す場面でよく使われます。この言葉は社会的な動きや騒ぎを描写する際に非常に有用な表現です。
There's been no sort of outcry for Wataru Endo to play games. There's been no sort of outcry for Wataru Endo to play games. He was never likely to sort of kick up a fuss and
キックアップアファスは大騒ぎをするや文句をつけるという意味のイディオムで日常会話で頻繁に使われ、例えばサービスに不満を持った時や物事が思い通りにいかない時に感情をロアにして抗議する様子を表します。この表現は相手の行動がやや大げさであることを軽く批判するニュアンスを含むことが多いです。
He was never likely to sort of kick up a fuss and he was never likely to sort of kick up a fuss and kick his, throw his toys out the pram and all that sort of stuff.
プラムはイギリス英語でベビーカーを意味し、特に赤ちゃんを平らに寝かせて運ぶタイプの乳母車を指します。アメリカ英語のストローラーとは異なり、新生児用として使用されるのが一般的です。また、スローアンズトイズアウトオブザプラムというイディオムでは、ダダをこねるや子供っぽい怒りを見せるという比喩的な意味で使われます。
Kick his, throw his toys out the pram and all that sort of stuff. Kick his, throw his toys out the pram and all that sort of stuff. And albeit at different sort of spectrums.
スペクトラムは範囲や領域を意味する言葉で、物理学では光や電磁波の分布を指し、比喩的には多様性や広がりを表現します。例えば、政治的立場の広がりを示すポリティカルスペクトラムや自閉症の多様性を表すオーティズムスペクトラムなどで使われます。物理的な現象から抽象的な概念まで多岐にわたる場面で用いられる便利な言葉です。
And albeit a different sort of spectrums and albeit a different sort of spectrums and by just waiting in the wings.
Wait in the wings はもともと演劇用語で舞台袖で出番を待つという意味から派生したイディオムで、現在では比喩的に何かのチャンスや役割を準備しながら待っている状況を表します。例えば、昇進を狙う社員や試合に出る準備をしている控え選手を表現する際によく使われる言葉です。
And by just waiting in the wings. By just waiting in the wings.
いかがでしたか？ザ・レッドメン TV のメンバーだけではないとも思いますが、どちらかといえば遠藤航は放出容認派が多いと思いますが、遠藤航のひたむきな努力は、 特に試合でプレーとして実際に見せることで、本当にリバプールファンを感動させていることがわかります。これによって遠藤航の出場機会が増えることを願っていますが、同じような気持ちのリバプールファンも少なからずいるのが明らかですね。まだまだ遠藤航に関して話している動画がありますので、もう少し頑張りたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。